Welcome back, everybody, to another game called The Beginner's Guide. This is very similar to the Stanley Principle, since it was designed by the same guy. But it's kind of like a walk through the mind of a game developer. It's just interactive, narrated, and it only lasts about an hour and a half. But I'll probably break it up into chapters and episodes, kind of like I normally do on my YouTube.
Hi there.
Hello.
Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com.
That's supposed to be his actual email address.
Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Loading. November 2008. Yeah, that email address is supposed to be an actual email address. All right. Okay, sanitized white room.
Warning. Whisper machine active. Shift destruction imminent.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Ooh, listen to that music. It's a little on the loud side for me.
You can click to fire the gun.
I'm out of bullets. not sure where we're supposed to go.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life forms inbound.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
The way you can see the bottom of the universe.
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
No, I want to do the labyrinth.
Or, if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
Well, that's cool. Or if you want to solve it.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Oh, look at there, that's easy.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering a whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives,
What about a hand grenade?
Could you give yourself?
No. Let's see, I'll just go back the other way. Okay, there's nothing else we can do. Where's my gun go?
This is not a branching point, unfortunately. The only option is to step into the beam.
Aww. And I'm dead.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Okay, so this is the bug version. Whoops. Oh, there's the labyrinth. There's where we
The
came
beam
in.
causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it, like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
All right. Loading, November 2008. Okay, the past was behind her. Okay. I can crouch, I can jump, but I can't move.
So try walking backwards.
Oh.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Ah, interesting. Floor is kind of glitched out. And here's the funny thing, walking backwards. Constantly have to turn around.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Code is trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Why does the future keep changing? Ooh, there's a way out. When she stops and looks, it becomes clear. Yeah, you should never look at the past, but look at the future. What if the future is always behind her? How will she find the strength? To confront it.
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Next one. Nice texture. Ah, very dark. You are now entering. I'm very limited on the left-right movements, as if it wants me to stay on the path. How far back can I go? That's it, that's far. So it's very linear, one direction. Stay on the path. You're now entering... what?
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
It's dark. It's like a Slender Man simulator.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Sounds like Notch. Or Marcus Pearson, the developer of Minecraft. He just like coding. He just like making little games.
I know it's tempting, but there's actually nothing over here. Sorry.
Sorry. Jump off the edge. I like to explore. Got the wind whispering through the headphones. I hear sounds. Whoa. Almost disorienting. Alright, up and away. I can hear the footsteps. I'm slowing down for some reason.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens.
Okay.
So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Okay. Press enter, full speed, enter the door. Stand on an X staring at bear for 3 hours. You constructed a wall destroyed. You're given a medal.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Talking to people, for sure.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Whoop. I walked too far. I was trying to read some of those quotes. Ready, set, fish. Sounds like a Dr. Seuss book. Okay. Interesting, interesting. Okay. A little on the cold side.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Can't go back. Look at the fog. Alright. Checking the size of the room.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
We are.
We're going to see it a lot.
Okay. 3 buttons. Well, I think the music is a little loud. Let me adjust that a little bit. Still loud. Usually ledges means you can't go back. Behind the door. I like the lighting on the floor. Interesting lighting.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough.
Simple enough.
All right, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Oh no, if I press enter, all the walls go kaboomo. Ah.
How about that?
It's like
there
a
was
glitch.
more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
I wonder if those are all actual corridors or just line drawings. Alright, once again, we're limited there, limited there. Alright. This is the same walking path as before. You're now exiting.
Aha! So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that big